Life is too short to be miserable. Many of us go through life feeling unwanted or not good enough or not worthy or not valuable. What a terrible way to live. I do play that dance between serious and silly all the time.
And when did you decide to pursue a career in acting and comedy?
You make it sound like I had a plan. You have to, first of all, love it because there's a lot of rejection. And the other thing is you have to create your own opportunities.
Is there anything that you should not do?
Don't take it personal.
Welcome back on the Canadian Dream podcast. Cliff Prang is a comedian. He's an actor. He's also an MC. And he tries to be serious, but he's actually such a funny guy, even when he's not really trying to be funny, which is quite unusual. I'm so glad to have you here today. Thank you.
Thanks, Elton.
A lot of people try to be funny, comedians or non-comedians. How have you managed to find this fine line between being funny and forcing yourself to try to be funny?
For me, it's that joie de vivre, right? It's just being delighted, being curious, looking around and again seeing silly things, or you look at just like anyone that looks up at a cloud, sees a different shape. It's being able to look at things in different ways, and then also to not have the fear to say it out loud or to act out. And so that isn't like it's just who I am. So I think the idea of not trying to be funny, I'm complimented by the way that you're saying that I'm funny and not forcing to be funny. Sometimes I try, because if someone's paying me to be funny and I don't feel funny, well then I have to try to be funny. But the reality is I just enjoy life and things are funny to me.
Were you always like this, even as a child?
I like how you said that. Were you always like this? That's what someone says before they fire you or leave you forever. But yeah, no, I got in lots of trouble in school for being silly or acting out or talking too much or but it was also started as a bit of a defense mechanism. So, I grew up in a house that had a little bit of tension. Mom and dad didn't get along very well.
Well, I wanted to know that. And just so let's go back in time.
Yeah.
This is the Canadian Dream podcast.
Yeah.
Some guests are immigrants and some guests are born in Canada.
Yeah.
Were you born in Vancouver or Chilliwack?
I was born in Winnipeg.
Oh,
I was raised in Ottawa. So yeah, the Canadian Dream podcast, like a lot of the people that I've seen on the show are, are people who have come, to Canada from another country. My parents came to Canada from another country. They were from Holland. Yeah. And so my dad was like a radio tech. He was a communications guy. So he first worked in the Merchant Marines and then he worked for the Canadian government, Transport Canada, and then worked for, was doing landing systems. So everything kind of communications and. Yeah.
So it sounds like he was a very serious man.
He was a very serious man.
What about your mom?
My mom was definitely, she was the, can I say shit disturber?
Yeah, but you were smiling before talking about your mom.
Oh yeah, because my mom is she's a loose cannon. So that was the thing. Like my dad was, although my dad could be silly sometimes, he was more of a stern.
He could be, but he chose not.
He chose not to be. No, he was mad, I think, a lot of the time because he had a son who was obnoxious.
Are you an only child?
No, I have two older sisters. No, my dad's great and my mom's great. But they were definitely a whale in water. My mom was, the one who would throw wine in the fireplace on New Year's Eve to get everyone's reaction. My dad would be like, no, no, no. And my mom would go, shh, and then the flames would come and everyone would go, yay. And so then my dad was mad and, his kid sitting on the stairs, admiring the flame and the audacity and then also being like, this isn't going to work.
So do you think, looking back now in time, you were close to 50, 48. Sorry, I don't know if you were going to reveal it.
Are you serious? You just did me like that right now? Well, I can see your belly button through your shirt, so screw you, Elton.
So tell me, when you look back now, are you able to try to understand why you started being funny? Was it to get attention from anybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was it to be admired?
It was definitely getting attention. Like it made my mom happy. When we were like dancing or being silly, it would make my mom happy. If there was tension in the home, it was a diffusion of tension. For me in school, socially, by being silly, by cracking jokes, I could make my classmates laugh. Yeah, it really upset some of my teachers. I definitely had some timeouts behind desks, or I was asked to sit in the hall a number of times. But, like, I remember French class in grade 12, I think. Like, someone would be like, "Cliff, please talk to the teacher." So then in French, in my broken French, I would keep the teacher engaged in conversation with me as I explored the complexities of the story we had just read, and then everyone else could just tune out, and that was my gift to them and some people would pay attention and laugh, and the teacher would, just be delighted, and it was all just a ruse to just kill time.
Did you read a lot or did you watch TV, listen to radio?
I watched some TV. I didn't read much. I've never been a big reader. I don't like reading. Reading is boring to me. And not to offend anyone, but it's also just like I'm easily distracted. So it's like I might read a few pages and then go off in another world.
It's
Or
hard. For me, I feel the same.
yeah, I do have a little bit of the ADD. Like, just I don't think I have a lot of it, but it definitely helps me like create. But it also makes administrative task and following through with stuff challenging.
When did you get in trouble for being funny for the first time that you can remember?
Oh man, the big one, grade 3, Madame Boudreau. She's still living, Madame Boudreau. Uh, she was. Now I hope she's not listening because she was like a potato late. Like she was a stocky, kind of like short hair, big glasses, and she was just mean. Like you were a mean lady, Madame Boutreau. And so she was like lecturing someone, and then I got up from my seat and I was like walking behind her, like, and I was like kind of acting out behind her, yeah.
Like
And
those
so
mime class.
yeah, I was just doing what she was doing, and I was like being like stocky. And the thing is, we were in like one of those kind of open, like a giant kind of room, but it was all the classes were divided off. So as I went back to my desk before I got in trouble, Mr. Gowan, if you're out there, who reminded me of Phil Collins, was leaning over top of the divider, watching me, and he pointed at me and said, "Come here," and then I got in trouble. But what was best, and this is like, my mom, parent teacher interviews, my mom sits down with Madame Boudreau, and Madame Boudreau says, "Your son is silly. Your son is silly." And then my mom was like, "What do you mean by that?" It's like, "Well, he distracts in class. He talks too much. He acts out. He's a detractor." And she's like, "Well, maybe if you did your job better, his attention would be retained." Yes. So that was my mom. And now picture my mom's little, and she's fiery and she's Dutch, so her accent was pretty thick. And
Oh, little in Dutch, that doesn't go.
no, exactly. Well, here's the other thing. It's like if we're talking about colonization, which we weren't, but let's do it.
Let's
Uh,
let's make it funny, right?
yeah, my grandma, my Omi, my Oma, and then Oma, and then Omi is my great grandma. Omi is Indonesian, and Oma was Indonesian, and so then my Opa got himself an Indonesian woman. So some people call it colonization, other people call it marriage. Either way, identities are stolen. And I lost the tall gene very
No,
quickly.
no, you didn't.
Nah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Out in Chilliwack.
This camera is this much higher than that camera.
But no, I'm like 5'11 and a half, 6, right? And it's like out in Chilliwack where all the Dutch are pure. They've kept all the lines strong. You got blonde and blue eyes. They're at 6'6", 6'4", 6'2". I'm like just teetering at 6. So, but I tan super good in the summer. So I got that Indonesian, yeah. So
Good. Just for our audience here to understand, you live in Chilliwack, which is about an hour from Vancouver.
no, it took me an hour and 45 this morning in traffic. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for for being here on time.
I was yeah, I came early, in fact, which is something that they don't appreciate here in the studio. So if you're wondering why we have these little grins on our face, this is because I got in trouble for being early. But I tell you, I sat in the cafe and drank coffee, and I let them know that I was early, so no one had to be put out. But apparently, everyone was stressed in the studio because I was ready.
All right, so back to
No, I want to talk about this some more.
your family. So your mom encouraged you to be really discover yourself and follow your.
She wanted me to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I was singing, and I was,
Theater class.
acting, theater, yeah, all the things.
Okay.
She loved it.
How was your performance in sports? Because that's huge for boys.
So I didn't grow. Like, I was a late bloomer. So that was actually like, that was one of the catalysts for me, because I love sports, still love sports. But when I was in grade 9, I wanted to play football. We only had a varsity football team, so I was little. But also the fact that I was a late bloomer, I had a high voice. So I was the soprano in our school choir. I got solo lines. So yeah, that's what's that? Soprano. Hey, yeah. In the jungle, the mighty jungle. Yeah, that was me. And that wasn't that great, but I tell you, when I was in grade 9 and I could hit those notes for real, it was pretty special. It was pretty special.
Can you sing anything from Bee Gees?
From the Bee Gees?
Yeah.
Like Staying Alive? You can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's mouth, no time to talk. Yeah. No one's ever asked me to do that, by the way. I did that for you.
An original.
I'm just gonna say no. That's the thing. Why am I saying yes to you? I'm not your monkey.
And also, I've known you, Clifford, for now about 15 years, I think.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, 15
Yeah.
years.
So tell everyone how we met.
You were emceeing at an event. I was the photographer at an event.
The organization is called Real Canada, and so they put on these film festivals in schools, right, to expose them to Canadian film. And then so I was hosting the film, like introduced what the film was, and then we do these talk back discussions afterwards. So facilitating discussions with the students, and then sometimes even interacting with the film.
Yeah.
Via what was it called?
It
What was the
wasn't
platform? It wasn't Zoom. Skype.
Yeah.
We would Skype.
Yeah, most people watching don't know what Skype is. So yeah, I met you there, and I found it fascinating how fast you were, how funny you were, but you could also talk to the kids in a very relatable way. So I never forgot about you. And then fast forward to maybe 10 years later, I bumped into you at the film festival in Chilliwack. One of our films was selected for the festival. Brother Rick, go and watch it now.
Yeah, it's very fun.
www.icemultimedia.com/
You have to say this. You have to say it slower, or put it like, just look at your screen right down there.
It's a 14-minute documentary about okay, here I am doing my just go find Brother Rick.
Yeah, tell them what it's about. It's a great film.
And, yeah, and you were there.
Yeah.
Also emceeing the event,
Yeah, I hosted the awards, so I emceed the awards.
which I was not a part of.
Yeah, you didn't win nothing.
But I bumped into you, and you were surprised that I remember your name.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but you were really good. So,
Oh, thank you.
and I also went to the comedy mix
Yeah.
many, many times in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And it was always a 50-50 kind of experience. 50% chance it would be nice, and 50% chance it would be a disaster.
Right.
Yeah. And you
That's comedy.
and your performances are usually very consistent, right? And one of the characteristics of your style is you can get dirty, but you are able to keep it clean.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, and I do that for a specific reason, is I want as many people as possible to enjoy the show. So there's a common denominator, right? So there's a wide variety of sensibilities, but there's certain topics you can joke about very easily, and everyone can relate and laugh, and it doesn't require language. That said, over the last number of years, life is as so, and you get a little bit broken, and things are darker, and so then you actually want to poke at some of those things, some of the more divisive topics, and then so I do enjoy that. But there's a difference between when I'm being hired to go somewhere. So if I'm being hired by, UCW, or, to come and talk to you, then I'm like, I'm on your turf, and your audience isn't coming to a comedy show. And so then if I'm going and doing a set at a comedy club, then I have there's a different denominator. There's a different common denominator because as people walk into a comedy club, they expect the full range. And so then I have the freedom to play if I feel so inclined.
Right.
Yeah. Which is fun sometimes to really let her fly.
And when did you decide to pursue a career in both acting and comedy? How did that happen?
Oh, you make it sound like I had a plan. Yeah, I'm an opportunist, so I love to play, and I'm also like I'm a yes man. I say yes. So if someone says, "Hey, do you want to do this?" I say yes. I see an opportunity. I'm like, that looks fun. I try it, and I think so. Where I'm at now, doing comedy shows and emceeing events and also producing shows, is that I've just said yes enough time that one, I've gotten good, and two, people know that I do certain things. So it's just kind of happened. And then
But how did it happen? What were the yeses
I mean,
that took you?
in high school, well, let's go all the way back to high school when we're talking about me having a soprano voice. Soprano voice kept me from being a jock. Even though I could play the sport, I wasn't big enough to compete with the bigger boys. I couldn't jump over the net and spike the volleyball. I couldn't take a hit in football. I never could because I never grown. And so then I ended up getting involved in music and drama and all those things. And so then it was just consistency of performance, emceeing the talent show at school, those kind of things. And then when I was in school post-secondary, even though I wasn't in school for performance, I was just always on stage. Every opportunity to perform, every opportunity to be silly, every opportunity, to just to be on stage, I was on it. I wanted it. And so then when I ended up on the other side of life, where you're like, how do I live my life? What am I supposed to do? It was just always it was always the first thing I need to do is be responsible and have a job. So I pushed mowers. But then all of a sudden I got a call out of the blue to perform. It's like, oh, your friend told me that you could stand in this play for me. And I'm like, okay. So I went and did a one-act play at Pacific Theater. And then I'm at Pacific Theater, and they're like, oh, there's this thing auditioning. So then I auditioned for that thing and get it. And then, oh, after your one-act play this night, there's an improv show. I see you have an improv background. Would you like to be part of that show? Yes. Then I find out that's Vancouver Theatre Sports. I'm like, that's cool. So then I go to a Vancouver Theatre Sports show, and I put my name in the hat as a possible volunteer. I get pulled. Now I'm on stage and I'm acting in a scene. They're like, hey, you're really funny. You should come to a weekend workshop. So I'm like, that's a great idea. So then I go to the weekend workshop, and great. So I'm at the weekend workshop, and then I find out that someone dropped out of their resident improviser training program, and there's a spot. And they're like, hey, Cliff, we really enjoyed you in this workshop. Would you be interested in joining the resident improviser training program? I'm like, yes. So then, I paid my money, and I was there for 20 weeks on stage at Vancouver Theatre Sports, which is now the Improv Center. And so from that, it was like, you should probably get an agent. Okay. So I got an agent, and that, and then someone from Vancouver Theatre Sports like, oh, we have a private company that tours and does shows. It's like, and we do clean only, and we do a lot of churches and stuff. Would you like to come and be part of that? So then I'm like, yeah. So all of a sudden I'm on a plane to Winnipeg, doing improv shows, and I'm like, oh, this is possible. You can have a career traveling around performing, doing improv shows. I had no idea. And then one guy steps out, I step in. Next thing you know, I'm touring North America doing improv shows, and it started mowing lawns. I went to Bible college, studied to be a pastor, and it was just like, it was just.
Wait, you became a pastor?
Oh, sorry, did I not say that?
Sorry.
Was that too much of a?
Let's record the intro again. He's a pastor and he's a comedian.
I thought you were actually rewinding. No, I'm not a pastor. I'm not a pastor. I wasn't like a real pastor. I was I was a youth pastor.
Okay. Not a real pastor.
So that's like a super camp counselor. Yeah. So, yeah. No, I went to Bible college, in Cairnport, Saskatchewan, Briarcrest. Some of you have heard of it. And I got a degree in pastoral leadership. And so that was all that, and that's all like human resources. That's counseling, that's communications, That's like one-on-one care with people. And so all of those skills and all of that passion and belief, those things have transpired and enabled me to do what I do now, kind of wholeheartedly.
And what do you think was the main contribution from your dad? You talked about your mom, okay, but your dad, did he inspire you in any way to become the man that you have become?
Oh my gosh, yeah, in so many ways. First of all, m- uh, my dad was always a very hard worker. Again, also very focused and serious, and so I am a bit of a blend between the two. It's like the jackassery of my mother, and then the very seriousness of my father. And so those are kind of a mix because I do play that dance between serious and silly all the time. Like emceeing a fundraiser for like a German Shepherd recovery. You can't just like jump right in, like after they're telling sad stories about emaciated, dying German shepherds. You can't just jump right in with, hey, like there's a transition that has to take place. You need to be able to empathize with the audience and what they're dealing with to be able to then make that transition. Or recovery centers. I just did a fundraiser in Toronto for Team Rubicon. They walk into disaster sites. And so, you have a guy receiving an award and he's crying because he's talking about his PTSD from being an RCMP officer to having the opportunity to use those skills and that passion to help others. And so you can't just like walk in after that and go, hey, you got to transition. You got to hear, you got to read the room. You got to feel what's happening. And so seriousness of my father, and also the faith of my father, he's the one that really encouraged me to go down the road to, working at camp at like Bible camps and go to Bible college, did those things. And that really built that foundation for me, while also the irreverence and the audacity of my mother. And then we slap these two together, and I can go into a church and I can perform. I can go into a comedy club and let loose. There's really no room that I don't feel comfortable in because I understand the breadth of people's sensibilities. My mom and dad didn't make it together, but somehow I'm still holding it together.
What do you mean they didn't make it?
Oh, they divorced.
After how many years?
19. Yeah,
19.
that didn't work.
19, right?
19, which is actually pretty impressive that they made it that far, because from the moment I showed up, I was like, yeah, as a baby, oh yes, makes 1 year, got my bottle, and I'm like, eating some Gerber. I'm like, these guys are crazy. This is not going well. Yeah.
And how was it for you to find your way as an actor? Because being a comedian sounds easier. You make people laugh, guaranteed. I mean,
Yeah,
then the gigs.
ideally,
I mean,
yeah.
then the gigs are guaranteed. But
Yeah.
being a tremendous actor does not guarantee anything.
Oh no, yeah.
How is your acting career, or how has your acting career been, and the challenges that you have faced?
This is the nice thing about the fact that I have a career in hosting and doing comedy, is because there's less pressure on my acting career. Acting is still the dream, I think. Like I still would really like to be on set and on camera and collaborating with people on productions. But for me, um, the on stage performance and the with the mic performances take enough of my time and fill enough of the financial needs and creative needs, that this is less of a burden. But ideally, I want to do more of it. So I've had some success. Like I've been on set with a few very cool people, and I've been on some shows and some commercials. But this is like lottery. This is like I have no control over this other than keeping my skills sharp. And then like, so I have an audition tomorrow for When Calls the Heart, right? Still small roles. I was on hold for an ICBC commercial, which is our local insurance company. I didn't get it, but I was close to getting it. So it's like you go to the audition, they say, we really like you. You do a second audition, a callback, and then they pick you or they don't. But it starts like pool of hundreds.
Like
of
dating.
people. It's like dating. Yeah. And I kind of liked you. Your personality was all right. I like your pants, but
But I have 20 more dates after you.
yeah,
I will
exactly.
get back to you.
I'll get back to you. I'm gonna go for the guy with muscles. So,
Yeah.
that's definitely how it feels. But and so that's the thing. When I first started pursuing the acting career, like I didn't really have a lot of the other things going. And so then you go to an audition, you don't get picked, you think about it, you obsess over it. And then just with maturity and time, you learn to let go of it. You do your best possible performance for the audition, you serve the process, you give them an option, and then you just let go. And so the fact that I'm getting called into auditions, I'm very thankful for that. So there's casting directors in Vancouver that's like, you know what, Cliff will always give us a good option. Whether or not he gets picked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is the experience going to auditions? And how have you evolved? Because now you're saying, yeah, oh, you're making it sound so easy.
Oh, is that how it is? Is that how it
Super
sounded?
dreadful.
Yeah.
Going to
Could
auditions.
you do my voice again though?
I imagine.
Do the voice again.
I imagine that going to auditions must be really dreadful. It's just getting rejected. Like 90, according to you, 95% chance you're gonna get rejected.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Well, that was my first instructor, Jeb Beach. Like he was the one that's like, you have a night. If you're lucky, you'll book 5% of what you go out for, which is crazy. And the reality is like sometimes depends on who you are, depends how it goes for you. It could be less than that.
Did anybody inspire you? Jim Carrey is also Canadian.
I mean, yeah, Jim Carrey is like, I loved, Ace Ventura, like growing up watching that. Heath Ledger as the Joker, that's one of my favorite characters. It's a little bit cliche. There's a lot of people.
I don't like the other guy who comes to Vancouver often. What's his name? The guy who's in the Vegas Hangover. What's his name?
Oh, Bradley Cooper?
No. The guy they wanted to have his voice in the subway.
Oh, was that Seth Rogen, isn't it? Wasn't he? No, but you don't like Seth
I
Rogen?
don't like him at all.
No.
I don't care if you're best friends. I don't like him at all.
Right.
He's the guy that
You're so aggressive about this. Like, what didn't he do to you?
There are so many better options.
Yeah.
But
He also, it's like, and I think this is like, the key for, and you're doing it. I'm trying to do it. You make your own opportunities. Like, cause he's not just an actor or comedian. Like he started off as a comedian and then he got gigs as an actor. He also now produces, right?
Oh yeah.
He makes his own, like
The more time he spends off the screen, the better for
yeah, but it's like that's the if you make your own show, you get to be in your own show and you get to handpick your friends who you want to be in that show with you. I think Adam Sandler, like, showed us how that, and I'm not a big fan of any of these guys, right? Because it's like I do prefer a serious drama. There's not like I do enjoy some Will Ferrell comedies, but I don't lean towards comedy. Like I like shows like White Lotus and The Righteous Gemstones is a comedy. Walton Goggins, he's huge right now. Like White Lotus, and then Righteous Gemstones, he's incredible. Right now, like I've got a bit of a, he's an older guy. He's got cool hair. He's fit. He's got a huge bald spot. I'm like, he's got all the sex appeal. Like I think he's great.
Isn't it funny? You're talking about a man who's old, a little bit bald. He's looking so good. We would never talk about a woman like that. Oh, and now she's in her 70s. She looks amazing.
Helen Mirren.
Who?
Helen Mirren. She played the Queen. She's an older lady. She's done really well.
I actually just watched one with Nicole Kidman.
Oh, okay.
Where he seduces her.
Yeah.
A guy who he's an intern, so probably in his early 20s.
Is that the one with Zac Efron? No, I don't know.
She's like a much older CEO.
Yeah.
She ends up having a relationship with this guy in his early 20s.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's the dream, right? That's the dream.
Okay,
that's the Canadian dream. Getting seduced by an older. What's happening right now?
So you were talking like 5 minutes ago. Your first, was it a mentor or was it the guy who was talking about the percentage? If you're lucky,
oh yeah,
it's less than 5%.
Less than 5%. Jeb Beach. He's a coach, an actor, an instructor. He's a great guy. He's also super generous. He reminds me of you in that you're a connector. So when I went to his workshop, same way that you connected me with University of Canada West and, giving me these opportunities. So thank you for those. Jeb Beach did the same thing. He helped me find an agent right away. It's like I went to his workshop. He says, he's like, do you have an agent? It's like, no, I just came to a workshop. He's like, let me help you find an agent. And he set me up with meetings, which is amazing.
For anybody who has no idea of how these things work, what does an agent do and how essential is it having an agent?
Yeah, having an agent, it is essential. Definitely. It's not the end all and be all. Like there's casting websites, casting workbook, casting networks. There's sites that you can go on and if you pay the fee and you register to be on these sites, you'll see the projects within your demographic. What an agent does, agents have the pulse on everything that's happening. So they're in the back end of these casting websites, and then they have your face and they have your credentials, and they can connect you to these roles. And because they're a credible source and the casting directors, they're taking a recommendation on the agent, like their agent's vouching for you. Casting director's like, okay, yeah, I'll see Cliff for this role. I'll see Cliff for this role. I'll see Cliff for this role. And so that's the thing. And then as an actor, once you've gotten in the room a few times and proven, and again, you can do that with an agent, but it's just a slower, harder process because you don't have this person vouching for you. But once you build a reputation, then you'll be able to get into the room. You're gonna want to get your headshots. You need to create reel. So whether you get reel, so that's a demo from classes, but ultimately you start booking jobs, and then you have a reel that you can show what you've done professionally. But until you have professional reel, you use amateur reel. So student films, and there's a lot of them, you get connected with Vancouver Film School or any other professional film school, and you submit yourself for those. You can even go on Craigslist. They have jobs and you can audition for those. So
Do you teach or have you taught as well?
I've done some stand-up workshops. I've done a ton of improv workshops. Like that's my background, right? I did improv in high school, Vancouver Theatre Sports Improv Center. I now am a co-producer of a company called Very, Very Improv. We perform monthly shows and do corporate shows. So we teach a lot of, whether corporate workshops or whether workshops for people who want to learn or go into high schools and teach workshops. So yeah, I've done lots to teach them.
I never went to acting school or theater, none of that. And I am a terrible singer. I was named after Elton John,
Yeah.
and I cannot sing at all.
So are you a huge disappointment to your family?
I am
Yeah.
huge. I learned to play the guitar,
Yeah.
and I just quit because I couldn't sing alone.
Right.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
So
Could
stuck.
you do me a favor right now? Do you sing any Bee Gees? Could you sing some Bee Gees for me?
No, I can't. But I want to ask.
So because you can't, you would never ask someone else to do that, right?
No,
No, you would never do that.
what I can or cannot do is totally unrelated to what I want people to do
Fair enough.
or not to do.
Yeah.
I usually arrive early too. So
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you? Sounds good. I
So-
appreciate the color change in your face right now.
Cliff,
Yes.
change. Don't put me in the spot. Cliff, what are the main principles when you're teaching or learning improv?
The improv skill itself is listening and responding. If you hear someone's idea, you build on that idea. I think there's a lot of people that understand some of those concepts where it's about yes, let's, and yes, and. You say, Cliff, sing from the Bee Gees. I'm like, yes, I hate you, but yes. Just so you can build the story. And the yes and is like building together. So it's all about listening and building together. Now on the back end, before we even begin getting into the skills of it, I want to let the group know that it's a safe space. And so that's by setting up some rules where everyone plays unless they don't want to, and then they can step back. But if everyone's playing, then that removes the judgment, right? And so that's the other thing, no judging, right? So it's just like we're all having fun, no judgment. We're all insecure and we're all excited to try. So, because the thing is, as an instructor, even though I'm seasoned, I've been doing improv since high school. So what am I now? 48. I think we've addressed this already, and is that I should be good at this by now, but I still go blank. I still say stupid things. I get it wrong, even though there's no wrong. So then it's just letting everyone that's participating know failure. Not only is it an option, it is inevitable. And so you need to learn to embrace and enjoy the failure.
And what will be considered a failure? People are not laughing?
Yeah, if you're in a performance and people are not laughing or you're stumbling, coming out with an idea, you trip over your words, you have no idea.
Do you get those blanks as well?
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
And that's the nice thing about improv. You have an ensemble, you have other people, and we're all working together, right? So, but again, because we're all working together, there's so many minds. Like, and you get this, you're a producer, like, you're not the only one here. We got Ian back there, and Franco's back there. So it's like, it's a collaboration, right? So it's like, yeah, you have your ideas, but they also are creative and have their ideas. And so now it's just like, and you all have the same goal, but you have different ways of getting there. So then how do we work together to get to the end goal while also maybe getting sidetracked with someone else's different process or different. And so you always have to hold everything loosely in respect of the collaborative process.
And when you start an improv show, there are usually roles, right? It's a kind of game. Okay, you can't say a certain word.
Yeah, like you, or no letters in the, yeah, it's like,
Can we do something right here? We have
yes, let's.
Franco and Ian are here. So
Franco and Ian have no desire to plug with me.
they're like,
Yeah. So Elton and I, we are going to answer some of your deepest questions about life, science, nature, whatever. But because, you know, I have my limited experience and Elton has his very limited experience, we're going to need to do this together. So do you have any questions about science or nature or, you know, how the world works? Maybe you need some advice about a certain situation. Oh, okay.
Oh,
What is this? So the question is, what is the hardest part of being a comedian? But Elton and I are going to answer this question for you one word at a time. Okay? So we have no names. It's just us. All right. The
hardest
part
of
being,
a jerk
that was 2 words. Comedian
is
being
funny
all
the
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
If
nobody
laughs,
then
it
turns,
really,
but
really.
I
Oh, you said but. I really, I'm just going to say really, love
mean
people.
Okay, I see how it's working. Ian is
It's good.
It's like,
So did that work? Was that a win or was that a fail?
I mean, I had a blast.
Let's ask our audience. If you could all write it down, was that fun for you?
Yeah.
Let's do another one. Let's get another one. Let's get another question.
Write in your comments. If you're listening to this on Spotify, guys, I am really sorry. This is not funny at all. Just fast forward to 5 minutes from now, okay? We're gonna do one more exercise. So just go 5 minutes ahead of time.
Yeah. But what's your improv experience? Have
I
you done it before?
love watching it.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I did.
Was that
something-
stressful for you?
No, it was awesome.
Oh, was it? It was awesome? Okay.
Yeah,
it wasn't
it
stressful
was.
because your face was red and there was a vein on your head that was, for those of you who can't see, it was
My charm.
It was your charm. I mean, it was good. It told me
Yeah.
that you were.
No, I want to do it again. I want to do it again.
Let's do it again.
But Ian, your question.
Yeah.
What wakes you up in the morning?
What wakes you up in the morning? Okay.
So another rule, or you want to do the same thing? What
You want to do? Yeah. Let's just do the same thing. You know, so I don't have to think of something new. What wakes us up in the morning? In
the
morning,
I
yawn,
and
stand,
up
and
think
the.
hell.
Do you say think the hell or thank the hell? Accents are also
I said think.
think the.
No, you said think. Did you say think or thank?
I said, did you say think?
No, you said.
Okay. All right.
No, I said
All right. From the beginning.
and think.
Okay. In
The
morning,
I
open
my
curtains,
and
look
out
into
the
yard,
and
see
that
the
neighbor
is
not
wearing
guess You said guess. Not wearing. Guess what?
Jeans.
But
He
is
wearing
an
elaborate
pair
of
socks
that
stand
out
in
the.
neighborhood.
There you go. That's what wakes me up in the morning. My neighbor's very flamboyant song. So this is just, let's just break this down for a second. As interesting or not interesting, it doesn't really matter. You had an idea in your head.
Yeah.
I had an idea in my head. And so then we had to keep letting go of our ideas as our ideas were colliding together, right? So the moment opened the curtain, the neighbor was there, and he wasn't wearing. This is a naked neighbor back there. But he's like, you said guess. I'm like, guess? What? What am I guessing? And it took me a second to think about what's going on because you're like, guess. So I'm like guessing, and like you were saying a brand of clothing, right? Guess jeans. And so now we're talking about he's not wearing Guess jeans. So now we're in the realm of like what specific thing is he wearing, you know? So from my mind of like, oh, he's probably naked. This is hilarious. This is great. And then it's like now we're talking about pants and socks and whatever else. And so then we're like, how do we keep moving together? And then you were, did you have a preconceived idea?
No.
Oh, okay, great. Well, that's the way to go into it.
Yeah.
So preconceiving, which I just confessed to everyone that I was doing, is actually a killer of collaboration, right? Because you have already thought in your head is like, oh, I know what's happening now. Because then you have to, it's more work to keep letting go and like trying to keep up with the other person.
I just wanted to understand, what makes things be funny. I think it's also the mystery, the anxiety.
Yeah.
I think for the audience, you're probably thinking, you're like experiencing the anxiety. Like, how are they going to respond? And that's what makes it funny. Because it creates tension and then release.
Then release. But it also like there's the tension and then the piece that you need some level of surprise.
Yeah.
There's a logical path. So you follow this logical path that everyone can relate to. It's like you got a guy coming out of bed in the morning, blah, 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 opens the curtains. What does he see, right? So this is logic. What's the surprise? And the surprise is the punchline. It's the twist. It's the, I relate to this, but now, or it's the combining of two opposing or separate, ideas. So like, how do these ideas mesh together?
Now that we have experienced it here firsthand, okay, get an idea of what can be funny firsthand. I love watching stand-up comedy. I love it. Now tell me, what are the biggest or the most common mistakes that you think comedians do or bad comedians do?
Probably the biggest one is when the pressure is on the audience to like what the comedian is doing. So if an audience isn't laughing, that's not their fault. It's like, it's my job as the entertainer to have the audience engage and respond in the way. So now like in a comedy club, people show up to laugh. Their goal is to laugh. If they're not laughing when that's all they want to do, well, you are doing something wrong.
Yeah, like it's like having orgasms, right?
Carry on. I'm going to let you take this segment here. I don't even know what that is.
That was good.
Just so you know, Elton reminded me that we were doing a clean podcast today. I mean, there's nothing wrong with orgasms. Like, it's a very natural.
We were all born, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to say, I don't think an orgasm is necessary for conception. All right, carry on.
Okay.
For one. Just one. Just one. See, this is why you and I are thinking differently, because I'm like, my onus is on the audience, which is my partner. Okay. And you're just thinking about your own conception inspiring orgasm. Yeah.
No, actually, even though I am still laughing, I am thinking seriously now. So back to your TED talk. You mentioned something really nice that goes along the lines, like you're saying, serving your audience rather than expecting validation from them. Yeah. So that's what you.
Well, it's a dance for sure. The idea, and it's another quote from another comedian, Leland Clausen, who's a friend of mine. He just said, "Hey, the moment your audience senses that you expect something from them, that's when you lose them." Right? So it's like it's my job. All right. The same thing we were just talking about. It's my job to entertain the audience, not their job to validate me. And most people don't get into acting or comedy or performance of any sort, even pastoral work, because they don't need some sort of external validation. I mean, as humans, we all need some external validation, but performers are a whole different breed of potential narcissists, because we have this desperate need for acceptance and celebration and validation. And so to temper that, I have a mindset of serving my audience. It's like, what does the audience need? So comedy club, they're there to laugh. So it's my job to make them laugh. As I get to know the audience through my set, I cater, I twist, I get to know them, I chat with them, I give them jokes that I feel are going to connect with them. And also I write jokes. I build my set based on how audiences respond over time. So I'm putting the priority on them and giving them something that they will enjoy and want. And then the byproduct of that service is my validation. But if it's about me first, then I'm not considering who my audience is. One of the biggest compliments a client of mine gave, like when I was emceeing, they were just like, how do you just continually make it not about yourself? Because like she's worked with other MCs that are like, just telling all the jokes about themselves and talking about how they feel and whatever else. Is like, you always make it about us. It's like, well, you take the time to get to know your client first. Like, what's the organization? What are their values? What have they accomplished this year? And then you cater your content to celebrating them, amplifying their message, whatever it is. And in the comedy club, it's more on site, but that's the way it goes. That's the key, is putting their needs ahead of your own.
What are the worst types of people that you can find in the audience? Is it funny? It wasn't serious.
The reason I'm laughing is like, what are the worst type of people? The people that push past you in line without asking for, to be excused. Yeah, no, there's a lot of people that I don't like. People that steal your parking spot, I hate those people. Children, those are the worst kind of people.
No, I mean in the audience.
In the audience, children, yeah, okay. Just people who are not paying attention, like people who are, talking to someone else. Like a drunk person, you don't want a drunk person. Like a drunk person, because they don't have inhibitions, they're not processing information the way it should be.
What about those who start arguing with you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, just shut up. Like, why are you there? It's one thing if I'm talking to you, like if I'm talking to you and asking you questions, trying to get to know you, that's one thing, right? Like, give me the information I'm asking for, and then like, because it's a prompt, we're building, we're trying to get to know the audience, we're riffing, but if
No, I mean you're telling a joke, you're in the middle of it, and then someone goes, "That's a lie." Do you stop and you said what? Who said what? Are you that kind of-
sometimes you blow past it, and other times you engage with it or whatever else. I don't think I've ever had anyone yell, "That's a lie" to me. I mean,
That's true.
I've had people in conversation do that. No, but I mean, I'm just trying to think of like different examples. I had a show.
Or yeah, give me a real story.
Yeah, a real story. We had an open mic night at the Rosedale Roadhouse pub in Rosedale, East Chilliwack.
What is an open mic?
Open mic is the comics sign up and they do like 5 minutes of jokes.
Okay.
They're not professionals by any means. They just want to do it, and they've been trying to do it. So you give them the space to do it.
And you were given the space.
I was the host.
Oh,
I was the MC that
you were
night.
the professional.
Yeah, and so then there was this young lady that was on. I don't know if this is my sign language for young lady. She was at the mic, and she was doing her set. She was a little nervous. She kept looking away from the microphone. She was really quiet, and people are just yelling, like, speak up or whatever else. One woman came up to the stage and like, touched her. I was kind of trapped behind chairs, so I couldn't like normally tackle that lady walking. I actually grabbed her by the arm on stage and was just like, "We can't hear you, honey. Like, we're Chilliwack. This is what we're talking about." So I jump up on stage afterwards, like transition. She's almost in tears, because people are, whatever. They were right. They couldn't hear her, but whatever. Like, don't touch her. Don't yell at her. Anyway, so I get up there. I'm like, "Hey, we have a rule here. We don't touch the comedians. Just stay. It's like maybe we could work on some hand signals. With the audience." So then a couple guys in the back started giving me some hand gestures.
With fingers.
Yeah, fingers, moving of hand. Like, it was just like they weren't volume related hand gestures. They were self-satisfying type of hand gestures, if you know what I mean. And so I'm like, these guys. And they were like, they became detractors in the show. They were like, yelling stuff out and whatever else. And so I think in that situation, I kind of blew past it at first, but then I kept referring to the 95% of the audience that was great. And this is the 95-5 ratio again, and the 5% who weren't. So all the people that were kind of in the front area that were having a good time and engaged with the listing of the show and supporting the comics, I validated them a lot while also sarcastically slighting the crappy audience members. And because I had the rest of the audience with me in the shaming of those detractors, those detractors stopped.
Oh, okay.
So
That works.
It works when
And it's
you
very satisfying for the audience.
when you take the power away from the people who are detracting and maybe give them a hard time. It doesn't work in every situation. Again, every situation is different. You just kind of have to feel it out. I don't get heckled very often. Again, most of what I do is corporate, so I don't deal with a lot of hecklers. But even as I was hosting a Yuck Yucks theater show recently, the second show was drunker people. They're a little bit chattier. You chat with them and then you ignore them. You chat with them or then you educate them. It's like, just like, "Hey, you want to chat with me? That's great. But this next guy, don't talk to him." It's like, unless he talks to you, and it's like those simple kind of things to just help the audience know what's expected of them. And they usually follow suit.
Okay, so let me understand here. What would be the tips that you would give to someone who is struggling with this dream that is not for many? Becoming an actor or becoming a comedian or becoming an MC is one of those things that a lot of people are going to want to achieve, and only maybe 5% or less of those people who are already dedicated to it will actually accomplish it. What a long question, huh?
No, but I totally get what you're saying. It's a great question, Elton.
Thanks for the validation.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I'm here. I'm your audience. I'd say it's just, I don't want to discourage people from trying. I think you just need to know why you want it. Like, why is this important to you? Why is performing something that you want to do? Because it isn't an easy road. There aren't a million opportunities. And so it's like, you have to, first of all, love it. That love for it needs to be bigger than your fear or pain for rejection, because there's a lot of rejection. And the other thing is you have to create your own opportunities. You have to. So it's like you need to get out there and do like the open mics or whatever the opportunities that do exist to try. You have to be willing to give it away, for free, because if you love it, you need to just do it. And again, if there's no opportunity, then you need to create your own.
You just talked about the things you should do. Is there anything that you should not do?
Don't take it personal, So if you don't get a spot on the show or the audience doesn't laugh, take those as lessons, not as identity destroying situations, right? Like, because you can love something and it not love you back. It's like, you can love it, and if it doesn't love you back, and then you have to be willing to either let it go or sidestep or adjust what you're doing and how you're doing it. It's just work. So it's a weird hobby to have, because it's one where you stand naked in front of everyone. So it's like you like hunting. It costs you money. Great, you get a gun. You go. There's at no point are you like, "Oh, this bear is judging me for being a bad shot," or like there's no, like, the birds aren't heckling you in the woods being like, "You're stupid." why do you look like that? Or just, staring at you, but with comedy, it's like, it's a very personal, or performance in anything, it's a very personal,
Yeah, all eyes on you.
all eyes on you. And so then it's just like, you have to be able to build up that resolve and know why you're doing it and know why you're valuable beforehand. Because if you're going there to find your value or your validation, then you're in trouble. And that's been a long journey for me, honestly, because like I said, I started out of a defense mechanism to distract from tension and pain in my home, and then it's like, it's what I use to build my social networks, in school. And it's like to adapt with being smaller and not on a sports team. And, it's how I navigated my way around the world to the point I realized, oh, this is actually something I can use to serve people. But that took a long time to get there. And I'm still on that journey now as a near 50-year-old.
And now that when you are on stage, now you are pretty well accomplished. What is the most addictive part? Is it getting the attention? Is it having control of people's emotions? Or is it just being noticed?
I mean, all of those things are great. Everything you said. Laughter is probably the thing that really hooked me the first time. Like when I was in grade 10, I did my first, improv show in front of like a large audience, like 400 people. And I stepped on stage and I, did my character and made my first line and the whole audience laughed. And I want to take it to the next level. I've had people come up to me after a show and say, I really needed that. That's probably the most addictive piece, because life is, man, it's hard. And so, like I just think of COVID, and we don't need to talk about that, but it's just like, I realized I was non-essential. And I really wrestled with that piece for a while. It's like, oh, what value am I adding to the world? And then just again, like, as I still did stuff during that period of time, and especially during those hard times, like we needed to laugh. And I think about it. I still remember the first time I saw Seinfeld in Vancouver, and I actually cried before he came on stage. Like when they introduced his name, I cried. I'm like, oh my gosh, it was this, I'm getting emotional now. This is weird. This overwhelming sense of gratitude, because through some of the really probably the most difficult parts of like my early marriage or whatever, I was watching Seinfeld and watching some of his DVDs, and I was laughing. And it was such a release and a reprieve, and it was such a gift. And I think of some of the earlier comedies I used to watch with my dad, like I'd watch, The Cosby Show, let's, R.I.P. And like I'd laugh, and it was just those, like, it was such a bonding time, and it was such a gift that it's like, oh yeah, laughter is essential, and what I'm providing the world is essential. And that was a really good thing to realize, that helped me find that value. But to go even deeper and find a deeper value in yourself beyond what you're giving, like you're doing podcasts or producing videos, you have clients. It's more than that, Elton. You're more than that, and so in my mental health journey, because mental health is a thing that you'll find with a lot of performers, with the whole world. Again, it's not just isolated to performers, but we're special. We have extra things wrong with us. It just like kind of going through that process where I'm like, I'm loved, I'm lovable, I'm capable of love. Any rejection of my past, present, future doesn't supersede that irrefutable truth. I'm loved. And it goes further, that mantra, in terms of being a good partner and being a good father and being a good son and brother and friend and being good enough and choosing to love yourself. That has to be deeper than your performance, your job, your function. It's like your humanity. And that's actually where all comedy and all creativity comes out of, is your humanity. So your humanity needs to be intact before you trust an audience with it. Because an audience is fickle. A client is fickle. Everyone wants the product, but you need to know who you are. You need to be strong in yourself. That's the challenge. Be well, be whole. A lot of times people are like, oh, you got to be a little bit messed up to be a comedian. Well, yeah, it helps. But you need to be able to draw on some of that to be a comedian, and to create. But you want to be as whole as you can be within your own power and control. So whether that's therapy, medication, friends that you can talk to, I say that's probably, like, going back to all the advice I could give to someone, that's probably the best life advice I could give.
And what piece of advice would you give to someone who wants to be funny and still hasn't found the sweet spot?
I just keep doing it. Yeah, write, perform.
I think you also mentioned like paying attention at your audience,
Yeah,
performing for your audience.
yeah, for sure.
How can you find jokes on on your daily life, for example? When you look around, how do you find
Yeah, I'm gonna give
inspiration
I'm
to
gonna give
write?
credit to Sebastian Maniscalco for this. He's an Italian comic. He just says, whenever you feel a feeling, there's something there. So something irritates you, something confuses you, something makes you happy, something makes you hostile. It's the idiosyncrasies of life. Like, it's the observations. So it's what's impacting you. Brian Regan, another comic. I'm just gonna give all the credit out away to everyone, because it's like, yeah, and he says, I write down and I tell audiences everything that I think is funny. I only keep what they agree with me on. So it starts with, it's like, okay, what do I find funny? What's causing the emotional response? Where do I get this inspiration? And then you throw it out there, and you see how it lands. You see how it sticks. You play around with the words. You play around with the timing. You play around with, the order in your set, the tone, all those things. And then whatever kind of sticks and lands, and you kind of hang on to it. And just because it doesn't work doesn't mean it's not good. It just maybe means you didn't do it quite right, or, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any big regrets? You know what? We're not talking about your marriage. Sorry. The Canadian dream. Are you living the Canadian dream? What is the Canadian dream
I mean,
for you? What has it been, and what does it look like moving forward in life?
yeah, I mean, I'm making a living doing something I love to do. Yeah, and it continually evolves and changes, and I like that my life is short bursts, because I'm never stuck in one pattern. I can continue to say yes to different opportunities. Elton says, "Do you want to come and do a podcast?" Yes, I do. I want to have this conversation. So then it's like I come and do it. That is, to me, is a dream, is the freedom to do what you love, sort of on your own terms for the most part. And to let it evolve and change and hold it loosely. So that, I'd say I'm living the dream.
And you are also usually on this side, like you're usually the guy interviewing people.
Yeah.
If you were in my spot interviewing yourself, what question would you ask yourself that I haven't asked you,
Wow.
that you think that the answer should get out there?
I would say, well, you asked me a really good question that I'm just realizing now that I didn't fully answer. Do I have any regrets? And I'll get back to the question you just answered me. I have no regrets, in the sense that every failure, every hurt, every pain, every misstep, every bomb, it was all learning, and it all moved me forward, and it becomes a story, an experience, a lesson. So I can sincerely say, especially on the creative performance professional front, I have no regrets. We're not talking about the personal stuff just yet, but even on the personal level, it's like everything has come to this point where I'm at today, and I'm glad I'm here. What would I ask myself? I feel like maybe I got to that because I think I really wanted to leave here today letting people know that they're good. I think that's one of the things I really want people to know, is that they're good. So,
But what if they're not?
well, then that's good for them to know. Yeah, I think that's good for you to know. Are you all right? Are you good? Are you good? Good. Because I'm being very earnest here. The serious side of me is taking over now, in the sense that it's just like, so many of us go through life feeling unwanted or not good enough or not worthy or not valuable. And what a terrible way to live, right? Life is too short to be miserable. And I'm not saying, drop everything and pursue your dream. It's like, no, I'm saying pursue peace in whatever that looks for you. Like if you can be, it's like doing what you love is a path to peace, then do what you love. If taking an extra day off, if you can swing it, then if that's your path to peace, well, then do it. Going for a walk in the morning, well, then do it. Journaling, then do it. Going to a doctor and getting some pills, then do it. If you've got pain that can nag you, can physical therapy, then do it. Like whatever your path to peace is to find that wholeness, I think that having that foundation, that base is huge. Yeah. Because it's like, there's nothing funny when you're miserable.
No.
Yeah.
And it's hard. We were talking about it before we started filming. You can have a stable, good life for a long time, but something can happen and you can go downhill very, very fast.
So fast. And so then if you survive that, then on the other side of it, there's so many jokes. Right? So my philosophy is that what doesn't kill you doesn't kill you.
Makes you funnier.
No, it doesn't. Not necessarily. What doesn't kill you doesn't kill you. What are you going to do now that you're still alive?
Also, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and the guy was saying that, probably the worst thing that has ever happened to you is the worst thing that will ever happen to you.
Oh.
So don't worry too much.
Yeah.
Because things will happen to you.
Yeah, I mean, I had the worst thing happen to me, and then I had a new worst thing that happened to me. And then there's been a couple worse things since then. So, yeah, I think that's not true. But that said, if you develop your ability to
move forward.
Yeah.
Move forward.
Yeah, you create a higher level of resiliency or tolerance or whatever. It's like for pain. It's like pain tolerance. Yeah. And that's honestly comedy performing. It's like you develop that pain tolerance. I can stand in silence and get energized.
I just want to add to what he said here. Do as much as you can of what you love and get as good as you can at what you love doing. Because then everything is going to be even more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sucking sucks.
Sucking sucks.
Sucking sucks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not willing to start,
everybody started.
You got to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cliff, where can people find you and what can they book you for?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Cliff Prang, CliffPrang.com, at Cliff Prang on my socials. You can book me for emceeing, hosting fundraisers, award shows, corporate parties. I do stand-up comedy at your bar, your club, your pub, your corporate party.
Kids party.
You see at the birthday party. I do not want to hang out with your kids. I do not like your kids. Stop asking me. But
So
that's
pretty much everything except kids parties.
Yeah, screw your kids. Improv shows. We do all ages shows. Kids can come to those shows. Public, private, corporate.
That's going to be in the description of this video or this episode on Spotify.
Cool.
Thank you so much, man. Last words for anybody who, it's something I like to ask. People have dreams and then life happens and it sucks sucking at things. So for people who have lost that desire, that flame, the momentum to keep pursuing their dreams, what would you like to say to them? Looking at that camera over there.
You've lost your spark, have you? Well, I've lost my spark before too. It's okay, and it's okay to have a season of nothing. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to put the dream aside. Absolutely. But also, once you get reconnected to your value, your belief in yourself, and your love for yourself, I believe that spark will kick in again. Every detour I took thinking I had to do something like a particular job or responsibility was, being a dad or whatever it was, I always came back to performance because it's my passion. It's really deeply in who I am. And also to be a good dad, I realized I had to set a good example. If I believe in myself, I can't tell them to believe in themselves if I don't believe in myself. So set the example for them. So back to you. Sorry, made it about me again. Back to you. find yourself, and your passion, your dream will reignite.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cliff Prang in the house.
It's been a great audience. Thank you so much. It meant so much to me. Thank you for coming out tonight. You guys are the best. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Nice.
Cliff. And now thank you for watching this episode or for listening to it until the end. You made it. You are the top 5% if you have made it to the end of this episode. Thank you so much. Remember to subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you find this funny at all and want to share with any grumpy person that you know, go ahead and click like and share this episode with them.
Can we have snacks now? I'm so hungry.
Thank you so much. We gotta go. See you on the next episode.
Seriously, no snacks?